Are you ready? Because I'm ready. Welcome to The Tipping Point. I'm your host, Joanne Johnson. I have another amazing show. They get better and better every week, my friends. I love this show. Tonight, we have got author Marjorie LaNelle. If you are not familiar with Margie, she has a book series. She is from the upstate of South Carolina, and she's doing a series on a different kind of topic. So buckle up. We're talking about apparitions of Abbeville, South Carolina, and the ghosts of Greenwood. So I didn't say it correctly, but she's going to help me in just a minute. But I want to go ahead and bring her on right now. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, Joanne. How are you?
I am lovely, and we have the scariest, most wonderful, and interesting things to talk about today.
Absolutely. And you know what? We're twinning. Look at this. I have a buckle on my. It's crazy. We
It
didn't
is.
plan this, folks.
We did not plan this.
No.
So that's exciting, but we're fabulous and we're here and we're going to talk about you, Marjorie, and your career. And you do a couple of different things. You're like I am in the sense that you do a day job where you support and lift up other people and you love what you do. And then you're also an author and you have another interesting project that we're going to talk about at the end that you're beginning to work on as well. But I kind of want to walk back to the beginning when you started writing, because you do this series, but you're also doing another book as well. So this isn't the only thing you do, but take us back to when you said, this is my dream. I don't think that I really want to do anything else except for write.
Oh, I do have a passion for it. And if there's any writers out there, you can relate. It's a passion. It's almost like a mission as well. You wake up during the night or something inspires you and you have to get it out. You have to write. So I'm encouraging all the authors out there, whether you're published yet or not, if it's in you and you have that passion, you go for it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. But the very first thing that I can remember writing and saying, I like this, was either in the 7th or 8th grade. It was in Patsy Manley. She was my teacher, Mrs. Manley. She was my English teacher. And we had a middle school little magazine called the Kaleidoscope.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an honor and privilege to get a poem printed in there because all the students submitted. So the very first little poem that I wrote was entitled The Gnome. And when that was published in that, I was bitten by the literature bug. That was it. And I knew that one day one of my dreams was to be a published author.
Was anybody in your family, were your parents writers or anything?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Both of my parents are very creative. What my dad couldn't do, my mom could do. What my mom couldn't do, my brother could do, and so forth and so on. We have a lot of talent in our family, but no other writers that I know of.
It's interesting that you say that, Marjorie, because creatives like ourselves, we don't typically do just one thing. It's you can write, you can cook, you can play the guitar. And a lot of times, like you said, you just decided one day, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write. My mom was a writer. And so I write as well. But with you, it's like, okay, my parents are creative. And therefore, I have that creative gene, and it flows out that way. I know one of my cousins. He just decided one day, I'm going to be a self-taught guitar player, and it's amazing with creatives. Do you find that you do more than one thing?
Absolutely. I can do 10 projects at one time better than concentrating on one. A lot of creatives are also ADHD. Everybody raise your hand. ADHD, OCD, anything that has letters, usually
Yeah,
we all.
that's us.
But yeah, my brother is a phenomenal photographer and he's also great at math. My sister can sing like an angel. And my dad, he skipped 2 grades because he was so smart. So, and my mom, she could make anything crafty. She was a seamstress. And so I couldn't miss. And my middle son, he is left-handed, will turn a guitar upside down, even if it's a 12 string, and play by ear and not even change the strings.
Isn't
So
that amazing?
yeah, it's just different avenues under the same umbrella, but different raindrops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was a kid, I thought I was going to be a singer, and then I moved into I was going to be an actor, and I was one of those kids that would sing in the shower. you know, and
Yeah.
then you get into a garage band and all of that kind of stuff later. And then but it kind of transitions. And I love to hear other creative people because it changes and we're very flexible. And through everything that we've all been through here recently, creatives are really coming out ahead because we are thinking very much outside of our boxes.
Absolutely. We threw the box away. We're the cream that's rising to the top. And
Yeah.
it's funny that you said you could be anything you wanted to be. My parents always taught me and encouraged all three of us, my brother and my sister and myself, that you can be anything you want to be. So right now I want to be an author. At one time I wanted to be an actress. So we have a ghost tour and we do acting things, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you can be anything you want to be. You can do it.
That's it. That's it. So let's talk about the first book. Tell me what happened, that triggered you to say, I need to write this down.
Well, I am by trade a tourism director for a historic town in South Carolina. And it was kind of like a little tourism project. Nobody had really touched on the subject of ghost stories in Greenwood County. And so I started going around Uptown Greenwood. It's a beautiful, beautiful area.
Yes.
Please visit Uptown Greenwood. It's phenomenal and beautiful. And I started talking to people and I found out that a lot of the stores and businesses in Uptown Greenwood had ghost stories or odd things happening. So I
Mhm.
was going to do like a little brochure, a little travel brochure. And there were so many stories that the ghost stories of Uptown Greenwood was born.
Can you
So, and this is kind of like a little tourism project, a self guided tour, if you will. It has the addresses and short stories in there about the different stories. And
can you
it's
share? Can you share a little bit? I mean, because it's interesting and there's people have a lot of stories. I know that I had an event center in a historic district, very old building. And I remember one day that I heard the door open and close and I heard a man talking and everything. There was nobody in there. Come to find out, it had been a bar from way back in the day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I mean, it sounded like a saloon door or something, you know?
absolutely. Well, we have stories from the Inn on the Square, which used to be two buildings, and then it was an alleyway in between, and then they converged and made one big building. So at one time in that area where the Inn on the Square is, um, it used to be a mortuary. It also used to be a tire shop and a lot of different things. So the Inn on the Square is very interesting. And we have one that used to be a ladies' dress shop, and they're in the process of changing it to another business. So I don't know the name of that one yet. But there were three different owners over the last probably 25 years, and it was always a gift or ladies' shop. And every one of them on their security cameras at one time or another while they owned it, a purse or an object would lift up and come forward and fall to the ground. And they have it on tape,
Oh, no.
videotape, different owners, same area, same shelf area. And so that is bizarre. And the theater, the Greenwood Community Theater and the Greenwood Museum. Oh, wow. You just got to read the stories. It's phenomenal. It's odd things. And these are people, I find it strange but funny that when I go to speak somewhere, a lot of people will come up and say, "Well, I don't believe in all that ghost stuff, but let me tell you what happened to me." So everybody's got a story where something unexplainable has happened.
Because it scares them, and it's not it. I mean, it is frightening to a lot of people. I mean, shoot, if I saw a purse cruise on by, I'm taking the zero. I'm out the door. I mean, I don't know. I don't need anything that badly. I'll wait till it's on sale because I'm not having it. I mean, and these people, the purse just it did that and they stayed there like they were fine.
Well, they saw it on video, and one of them talked it up to, well, there's still a train. Maybe it was shaken or something. Maybe the building shook. We always try to debunk stuff, but when odd things happen, they happen. But yeah, they stayed there, all three of them. It didn't spook anybody. It was nothing that was going to. It wasn't anything that was going to injure them or hurt them or anything. And like I said, the book, it's not about blood, gut, and gore like all Hollywooded up with. It's not horror. It's ghost stories and folklore and odd and strange and weird things that happen.
And so, and that speaks to the history of the town.
Right. Well, the title of my series is The History and Mystery of the South Carolina Lakelands. So not only do you get the mystery, you get to learn the history of the towns as well.
So why do you think that there's such a heavy presence?
You mean in one place or everywhere?
Just right in this particular area in Abbeville, Greenwood.
Well, Abbeville, yeah. Well, especially historic towns are saturated with ghost stories and folklore and things like that. So history has a lot to do with mystery, I think.
I think it's exciting. I can't wait to read your books. I really, I'm intrigued by that kind of stuff. I'm scared too in certain respects. But like you're saying, your books are not scary. They're not going to frighten you to death. They're just kind of sharing with you, listen, this is a town, or towns, if you will, very deeply rooted in history. And these things are kind of occurring, and this is what has happened to people. Do you feel like it kind of makes it fun too, and that people are attracted to the areas because of those things?
Oh, absolutely. It's a big tourism draw. For example, I've been to ghost tours in Charleston. I've been to them in Savannah. I've been to them in Gatlinburg. And each has their own story. And sometimes a lot of the folklore kind of runs parallel, different characters and a lot of similar stories. But like I said, you learn the history and the mystery, and history is not boring when it's associated with ghost stories and folklore.
Absolutely. And then you wrote a children's book as well.
I did. I wrote it. My youngest son will be 26 in June, and I wrote it when he was just a baby. It's called Can I May I Please? I heard my three sons speaking and playing one day in the room, and the oldest one said, "You go ask Mama." "No, you go ask Mama." "No." "Well, let's get Storm the baby to go ask Mama because she'll say yes to him, you know." And it seems like Mamas always say no, you know because we're trying to protect our children. So in the book, there's a little kid that always asks his mama to do things that she keeps saying no, 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 no. But there is one question that he always asks that she says yes to. So it's a sweet little book.
I find that I say no a lot even now. I've got teenagers and I'm saying no all the time. And yes, I want to protect them, but they need to stop asking for money. These people, because I don't know who they think I am, that I have all of this. But no, I mean, kids are fun. And with me, I've got 4 girls, and so it's drama 24/7. 24/7. They're just like their mother. So I had to one time apologize to my mom for everything that I had ever taken her through. And it's funny, Marjorie, because she would say to me, I had a child that was really a little bit of a challenge back in the day. And my mom would constantly laugh and she would say, "Mother's revenge."
That's right.
But then when she realized and remembered, wait a minute, Joanne, you're an only child. And she says, "You have it 4 times." And she never said it again.
That's right. Boomerang.
Yeah. But I wouldn't trade parenting for anything. Isn't it wonderful?
I am so blessed. I have 3 grown sons and they're all successful. And I have, when I say successful, they're happy and healthy in life.
That's it.
And, then I have 3 grandchildren.
That's really cool that you said that, because don't we compare ourselves to everybody else and what we think is successful, who we think is successful. We set these expectations oftentimes for ourselves, and then we feel like we fall short. But really, what you said absolutely nails it. Happy and healthy and well, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And they all have mates that are their yin to their yang. Where they're weak, the girls are strong, and where the girls are weak, the men are strong, and very blessed. And like I said, when the children were little, a lot of times we'll go down to the altar and pray. And the preacher came and said, "I've noticed you've been coming up to the altar a lot." I said, "Well, I'm praying for the spouses of my children." He said, "But they're little." I said, "Still, whomever God creates for my boys, I want them to be godly women." So
Yeah.
one thing we do too. We
Yeah.
pray a lot in the South. We pray and we eat.
Yeah. But praying for our kids. And so often we pray for the things going on in our lives or what we're wanting to happen in our lives. And we have to remember to cover our children and our grandchildren, if whether they're born or not, and try to carry that down. Right. And I love that you said that too, because it is important to pray for the spouses of or the partners of, our children. And it's something that not everybody thinks to do. And I've been guilty of not doing it as often as I should either. We get caught up in the day-to-day junk and all of that, but we have a responsibility to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was going to show you also the Abbeville book, which is my best-selling book, but while I was going to lunch, I had it laying here on the desk and somebody sold it. So I'm so sorry.
They sold it.
Yeah, they sold it. So I do have it right here that go Apparitions of Abbeville.
Yes.
I just don't have it to hold up to show you because I had one laying here ready for me because I don't sell them here, but somebody sold it.
Well, and we know to go to Amazon.com to get your books for sure. And let's talk about the next one because that takes us to Abbeville. And I have been to Abbeville. Beautiful town. The town square is phenomenal. The homes are breathtaking. But we know that there's some activity out there.
Absolutely. And there's a little echo over here. So if I interrupt you, please forgive me. It's not intentional.
It's fine.
But Abbeville is the birthplace and the deathbed of the Confederacy. It was where the secession speeches were first made on Secession Hill there. And it's also where Jefferson Davis signed to end the Civil War. Now, when I say Civil War, you either say Civil War, the War of Northern Aggression, or the war between the states. Different people in Abbeville refer to it as different things. So I don't want to offend anybody. So that's why we said that. But there's so much history and so much, even more mystery there in Abbeville. And it's one of my favorite places to go. And that's why I decided to write about Abbeville.
So what's in the book in Abbeville? Give us an overview. I don't want to stop people from buying it. Obviously, I want them to go to Amazon.com and get a copy, but kind of tell us what we would find in there.
Oh, well, the Belmont Inn is reputedly now one of, if not the most haunted hotel in South Carolina. The Belmont was originally built, and it was called the Eureka Hotel, and it was built in 1903. And there's a lot of stories that surround that. At one time, it had been in such disrepair that they thought about tearing it down, and then some people came in and built it back up and renovated it. So the Belmont's very interesting. The Opera House, which is the State Theater there in Abbeville, has 2 or 3 different ghost stories in there. The McGowan House, which is known as the Governor's House, the Burkstark Mansion. They also have a steamboat house there. If you don't know what a steamboat house is, look it up, read about it, and there is one in Abbeville. There's also this strange story about that I didn't know until I started doing research about this huge black stallion that runs through the square there.
What?
And one of my favorite apparitions over there is the one of Miss Penny. So she's a sweet little lady, but you'll have to read the book to see about that.
I'm sorry, I can't let it go. You said a black stallion just cruises right on through the town square, and he's
the square, yeah. That I had no idea, and someone shared it with me. And there's an old livery stable there. There's a watering trough there from long ago, and there's just so much. If you haven't visited Abbeville, go to Abbeville, stay in the haunted hotel. Nothing's gonna hurt you. Nothing's ever hurt anybody there. Okay. But there's a lot of different stories there. One in particular is Mr. Abraham, who is an older African American gentleman that used to be the bellhop there, and he is still there.
He's still in the hotel,
according to a lot of people. Yes. And he takes really good care of people.
Oh.
You may hear your doorknob rattle a little bit. He's just checking to make sure it's locked. So he's looking out for you still.
Oh my goodness. So the Belmont Inn, and I do a radio show with Mike Ellis, the comedian, and
He
And
is awesome. I love Mike. Mike on the Mike Show.
yeah, and he stays at the Belmont all the time. And he was letting me know about the stories at the Belmont as well. And he was the one that said, you know what? You need to interview Marjorie. He said, because
Oh,
she has written about this. And, you know, for people who love this kind of stuff, they really do need to go to the Belmont and they need to stay a night. And they also, I've been told, have fantastic food. So
oh, my husband and I'm sorry, there's an ambulance passing the window right now. Sorry. But yeah, my husband and I and two of our best friends went to see James Gregory at the Abbeville Opera House last
yes.
Thursday and or Thursday before last. But we went to the Belmont, made reservations, went there and ate. Um, my husband had the salmon, I had the spaghetti, my cousin had the the steak and filet mignon, and then it was delicious. They also have wonderful salads, hors d'oeuvres. I mean, you can't beat it. And Judson, who is the bartender there, now I'm not a big drinker or anything, but he makes the most incredible looking. I've never drank a Bloody Mary, but I mean, there's a shrimp in there, there's green, there's red, there's orange. I mean, it's just phenomenal and beautiful, and it's been featured in magazines.
You are making me hungry. Oh
Ah,
my gosh.
the
And
salmon is wonderful.
hungry and I want to read stories. And let's talk more. So you are a tourism director too by day,
I
which
am.
is really common nowadays. So many of us have more than one job. And it's because we love what we do. It's not necessarily that people do it for the money, but with a job like yours, you're impacting people on the daily. So can you talk a little bit about that role?
Absolutely. I'm director of tourism and events here in historic 96. Yes, if you've never heard of 96 South Carolina, the name of our town is a number, and you'll have to Google that to see why, because it's very interesting. But we have a historic site here, and it is called the 96 National Historic Site, better known to locals as Star Fort. It was the first bloodshed of the Revolutionary War. And South Carolina had over 400 land battles in the Revolutionary War. So we're very, very prominent in history with the Revolutionary War. This was a British fort here. And once the British lost the war, they burned it. So we couldn't use it, but we have built it up some. You can still see the Star Fort. You can see the rifle tower, the stockade, the supply house, and there's a place called Logan's Log Cabin that is the Black Swan Tavern now. So it's always free to get in. There's no admission, and that is federally regulated. We're actually a town, a municipality in the state of South Carolina, and we have one of which is coming up June the 26th on a Saturday every year. This will be our 13th year. We have one of the top four fireworks show in the entire state of South Carolina. We have the South Carolina Festival of Stars Patriotic Independence Day celebration, and it's always the last Saturday in June. And people say, why don't you have it on the 4th of July if it's Independence? Because people usually get one day off and they want to spend that with their family doing this or that, relaxing. So ours is always the last Saturday in June, and it's from 10 in the morning till 10 at night. We ask everybody and invite them to wear red, white, and blue. So when they take pictures, it's like a sea of red, white, and blue. It's actually phenomenal. And we have a little parade. Costs nothing to join in the parade. Anything with wheels, or if you want to walk, decorated in red, white, and blue. We have an Independence Day little parade.
Well, Marjorie LaNelle, I am so glad that you were here with us tonight. It's exciting that you're here. You're going to have to come back when you get the next book that you're going to be putting out. As soon as that's done, come back and see us. And again, she is a tourism director for the town of 96 in South Carolina. And she is a wonderful author of a series of books, including, she's got a children's book as well. Go to Amazon.com and look for Marjorie LaNelle and catch those books. Marjorie, again, it has been wonderful to have you. I'm so glad that you were here.
Absolutely. Now, I do want to mention really quick, I know you're going to bring it to a close. We do have a project in the works called History, Mystery, and Sweet Tea, which will be an
Yes,
internet show.
I forgot to
It'll be an
say it.
internet show, and we're working on that. I'll be traveling to different towns, finding out a little bit of history, a little bit of mystery, whether they saw Bigfoot or an alien, if they were abducted, or they have a ghost story, or there's folklore. But
Yes.
we'll be learning history, mystery, and find out who's got the best sweet tea in that town.
I'm so glad that you said that, because that was the surprise that I had said in the beginning of the show. We were going to talk about that and I completely forgot. So thank you for bringing that to everybody's attention. Come back and we will talk about that.
Absolutely.
That's going to be an exciting show, a lot of fun. And I'm here to help you promote that. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Time flies when you're having fun.
I'm telling you. I'll see you soon, my friend. Bye.
Thank you, friend. Bye-bye.
Okay, again, go to Amazon.com, look for Marjorie LaNelle. You do want to get that series. I know it's very, very good. I've heard wonderful things about it. I'm going to get it as well. And stay tuned for more information about that show that she has coming up. Until next time, my loves, remember to be loving and kind, and above all, be humble. I will see you next time.